Welcome to the AI for Interior Designers podcast, where creativity meets cutting edge technology. In each episode, we dive deep into the world of artificial intelligence and explore how it's revolutionizing the interior design industry. From AI-powered design tools to the latest trends and innovations, we've got you covered. So plug in, relax, and let's embark on this exciting journey together. Welcome to AI for Interior Designers podcast. P.S. This intro was written by and voiced by AI to sound like your host, Jenna Gaidusek.
Hey designers, welcome back for episode 60 of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. I'm your host, Jenna Gaidusek, and today I don't have a guest. It's just me. It's been a long time coming. I've wanted to record kind of a what's happening in the world of AI and interior design update episode for a while, but I've had such fabulous guests that I was like, I'm just going to do all of these first, and then, when I get a chance, I will. As you can tell, I try and show up every week. Every Friday is when I try and post all of these episodes, but it's been 2 weeks since I posted, and that's okay. It's okay. I came into this podcast with the first episode about a year and a half ago now, and I had zero intention. Like I was going to do this anyway. Like I just want to tell you guys about what is happening in the world of AI. So for me, this is just kind of a fun little side thing to have a podcast. I think I've said it before. I actually don't listen to podcasts. I can't focus on something else while I'm working. Like I can't have any music. I listen to EDM because it's repetitious and it's not a lot of talking. So when I'm working, I can't listen to those types of things. And since I work from home, and literally the only time that I have to travel is to go grab my son to and from school, and then obviously on a daily basis. And then it's 8 minutes away. So the amount of time that I actually have to listen to podcasts is very slim. So I think it's a little ironic that I have a podcast that people actually want to listen to, by the way. Thank you for listening, because I get to meet so many of you out in the real world, and you all come up to me and you're like, oh, I started listening to your podcast. And then, I was 3 episodes in already. I was like, thank you. I just kind of do this for fun. So I'm glad that you like it. That's also why you're not going to see at this point in time all these ads and, sponsored and I'm not there yet. Okay. I don't want to be doing that yet. It's just fun, no pressure. I show up when I'm able to show up. And when I've got interesting things to share with you, then I'm going to just keep doing it. So anyway, that was just kind of to preface what I'm going to be sharing today, which is where we are in the state of the industry when it comes to AI and technology that has been quickly advancing. I think we just need a little check-in, because it's been a while since we've really consolidated this message into okay, what is really happening right now? What is real, what is coming, all of those things. So before I get into all of that, I do have to mention, if you are going to High Point Market this fall, I'm doing my second of the year. It is AI Day at High Point Market. First one we did in the spring, and it was at Private Label, and we used AI to basically create American-made upholstery collections with Private Label, and it was fantastic. The amount of people that came up to me after and were like, this was incredible. It was such a small, closed class. And I do that on purpose because I don't want a massive class. I want you to be able to, when we're on our break, come up to me and say, hey, I had a question about this. Can you just show me that? 100%. That is what I'm there for, from the morning until the cocktail hour at the end of the afternoon. So one-on-one time with me to ask questions, but also we are implementing and doing things. That's what I love about what I do, is to see you make those connections. And for me, exploring different ways that this technology can be used, because everybody is so vastly different. It's exciting for me. So I just totally nerd out about all that stuff. So teaching and doing what I do, I don't know. It's just fun. And that's why I have AI Day, because I want you to make those in-person connections and have access to me, because I'm there anyway at High Point. So this is Friday. It's the day before market officially starts. It starts at, I want to say 9:30. I'll double check. But if you go to my website, aiforinteriordesigners.com, and look for AI Day right on the homepage, you'll see it there. I'm also going to link it below if you want to join. What we're going to be doing is basically using AI, but like really using it. So I'm not going to be teaching and talking at you. I will share a little bit, foundational work in the beginning, but then we're going to be exploring the showroom, using note takers, and then turning our loves that we find in the showroom, beautiful Fazy rugs, and we're going to be adding those to real rooms and creating content about like what we've just recorded and how can we repurpose that. So all of the tools and processes that we're going to be going through during AI Day at Fall Market are things that you can actually use during your time at market, so you don't forget anything, you stay really well organized, and you start to use AI to be able to do that. But also when you get back to the office, I want you to be able to feel comfortable integrating little pieces of AI, technology, which, is a very large umbrella, but little pieces that just make sense for what we do. So that's the goal. Hope you can join us. It's for individuals or teams. Spaces are very limited. I've already gotten quite a lot of signups, to be totally honest with you. From the get-go, and I have only sent out one email. So this is something that I think is going to probably fill up this time. So I just wanted to let you know about it. I will link it below, but if you're going to market and you want to spend the day learning about AI with me, I would love to have you there. Okay? All right. So let's get into what is happening in the world of AI and technology and design right now. Since I last gave you an update as to like where are interior designers using AI right now, a lot has happened. So let's kind of start at the beginning. Well, let's start at what all the designers really want to hear about, and that is the imagery, right? For me, this is like not the fun part of AI. It's pretty. I guess you could say it's fun if you like the visuals because you're design oriented, but AI is so much more than just visuals. And I think a lot of people have always kind of gotten stuck on that part as this is AI. It's generative AI imagery. And it's so much more than just that. So let's talk about where we're at with the imagery right now. So a few months ago, midsummer, we were using ChatGPT 5, and we were able to create some really great imagery that is fairly accurate when it comes to materials, fabric selections, scale if you tweak it enough, and basically having chat-based conversations saying, here's the image, here's the product, here's some measurements, can you put this here and do this thing? And you 100% can still be doing this, by the way. And it's great. Like it really is a super helpful tool. But then Gemini by Google dropped this bomb, which is NanoBanana. So if you have been seeing that everywhere, that's because it's pretty awesome. Like it maintains accuracy of product. Okay. So let's say you have one of those rugs from Fazy and you're like, I want to see this in this room. Grab a picture of the rug, grab some measurements and your room picture, and boom, put it right in there and say, add this rug to this floor. Okay. Or replace the existing rug and put this rug here. Done. Like with accuracy. Like I would say 99% accuracy of what that actual product looks like, you can put into your images. Now, this is all chat based. And for best results right now, I found that saying, okay, here's the paint color I want you to add to this, to this island, go add that. But I've also got some pendants I want to add too. What I've found is that if you can kind of parcel it out. So it's like in sections where it's like 1 or 2 changes. Great, that worked perfect. Okay, now let's take that image that we just made and now let's add some more updates to it. I found that working in segments like that just works better to be able to get your images. Now, that's kind of contrary to what previously I was doing with ChatGPT, where ChatGPT, I would say, here's all the stuff I need you to do to this one picture. And then I would be like, why is it being wonky? Because it's too many words, it's too many things happening, which is very similar to things that I've said before about creating generative imagery, where sometimes you just like from scratch using your words only. Sometimes you just give it all the info and hope that it gets everything into play, but typically it wasn't. So you would start with the core things that you want to see and then slowly start to say, okay, I need to add this. Or you start with, here's all of the stuff that I want to see in this image, in this conceptual imagery that generative AI could create. And then it maybe goes so rogue that it's like not what you wanted, but you've got elements in there somehow of what you've requested. Then you start to remove things from that really long prompt so that it's more simple and it can understand it. So there's kind of these like methods to the madness when it comes to prompting in every new model. So new version is basically it. New version or new model update that comes out, they've all got their little quirks where like one would do, this option better, or one would do this option better, or you have to program it like this. Universally, at this point in time, I'm finding best results are had by giving lots of information as to product placement, imagery, measurements, all that stuff, and then doing it in like pieces. So saying, add this, now add that, now add this, and just yielding better results by doing it that way, and faster. I think that's the issue where, you would put all this stuff in and then you'd be like, okay, great. Now I have to go back and edit this photo and tweak this. And is it time saving? Half the time I was just throwing it in Canva or Photoshop and saying, okay, I'm not going to sit here and just mess around with, when I do this, then this thing changes, that type of thing. So I'm just going to put it in Canva and do my edits and move on with my day. Now we're getting to the point, especially with NanoBanana, that it is all chat-based, but parceling it out and just having littler conversations as to add this, remove that, those types of things, is just yielding better results, like really accurate results. And when I say accurate, I'm actually not talking about scale. Okay. Visually, yes, it could look like very accurate, like it's a scaled sofa exactly where it should be in a space. But we know that as professionals, we still need to do our floor plans, and I say by hand, but by human. Okay, like I have not found any kind of a software that I trust enough to be like, oh yeah, that's a perfect configuration and all the measurements are great. Like I just haven't found an AI that does floor plans in a way that humans do floor plans. So I still build out all of mine. And that's the accuracy and detail level that at this point in time, AI through imagery, or when it says that it can do a floor plan, you're just not getting at this point in time. And also, I'm happy about that. Like I actually hope that doesn't change, because that is one of the critical thinking skills that interior design professionals bring to the table. Kitchen and bath designers, like the level of detail that goes into planning a room. I think that just always will require a human to at least look it over with a fine tooth comb and say, even if AI starts creating these types of things later, oh, that measurement is off, or yeah, that's not actually functional for how humans live in the real world. So like we're getting a lot of that now, but I think that's something that we'll always need to be able to look over and just be there to understand codes and what works and what doesn't in the real space, in the real world. Okay, so right now, just to recap, when we talk about generative AI imagery and even video, video through Midjourney and Gemini, VO3, maybe VO4. Now I can't remember if they just did an update, but the video component to Gemini, on point. Like if you want to do tours of your space from a photo or two photos, as long as you say walk forward in the space and don't let it make up stuff that it can't see, you're golden. Like those programs are doing it right now, and it's all built in. So notice how I didn't say Sora. Sora is not a favorite of mine, and that is the video generator through ChatGPT OpenAI. Okay, so right now, not a fan, but inside of Google Gemini and also Midjourney, pretty great video. So imagery, we're creating images, guys. We're creating accurate images. We're creating mock-ups. We're doing, design boards, color palettes, the things that I could show you that I create, and I will very soon. I'm impressed. I am seriously impressed as to the tools that we can create for visual references for our clients. And I want to point that out because this is something that designers have always done, right? A lot of designers I speak to, they're like, well, we start the project on Pinterest or we look for inspiration on House. And I'm like, stop doing that. Like, I understand that's your process, but also that's taking other designers' work. Why would you want to take somebody else's work when your clients have literally just given you the words for what they want to see in their space, and you can take those words verbatim and add your own input or direction, and then put that into an image generator, Dolly, in ChatGPT, Gemini, you could use Midjourney, like you could use Visual Electric, whatever. But these AI models are like the big ones, ChatGPT and Gemini, can do it without needing extra subscriptions. Okay. So like if you're paying $20 a month for one of those two, you can do it inside. Okay. So let's say you take your client's words and you're like, create this image for me. This is something that I can visually communicate as the design direction going forward. And this isn't just for like, here's a kitchen. Do we like the blue or the green cabinets? And, do we like this bar stool with it, or this countertop, or whatever? This is for design boards. This is for concept boards. This is for dropping in real products or seeing different colors on an exact picture of something. Okay, like real life photos that you can then do mock-ups and put in real stuff into the products. We are there. Like, we are there now. Okay. And there's this double-edged sword where it's like, well, now everybody has this technology, right? And that's one of the biggest things where it's like, great, now anybody could do this. But, and I don't mean this to offend, but 95% of the designers that I meet with can't do this. You think your client's going to be able to figure this out when they don't even know what they want? Let's be real here. Like, there's going to be people that probably were the e-design type of clientele previously, where they're more DIY, they need the direction, but in the end they're going to do a lot of it themselves, and those people might benefit from using AI. But that's a whole different category, right? Like, I think a lot of people listen to this, you may be doing e-design and maybe you're like, oh, well, I got to shift my services now, and you 100% can and still be relevant in this space. But this technology will take out e-design before it takes out the higher tiers of services that other designers are doing. And the reason for that is because people are savvy and they do want to try it. But currently, I am working with a client that I used to work with before. She's getting a new house. And she said, she's been telling me for months that she wanted to work together again when they moved. She was like, here's what ChatGPT made. I told it I really like green. Oh my gosh. She's the best for sharing this with me and giving me permission to share this information. But it was just, okay, you like green? Here you go. And everything was green because they know what they like, right? And so they use those words, but there's no other scheme. There's no other harmony. There's no connection to, I don't know, pushing the envelope that interior designers do, right? So what I have taken for her inspiration, I'm excited to be sharing this throughout presentations that I do, and then, just examples that I'm using in my daily trainings, which is my program, by the way. It's $29.99, tons and tons of videos. There's, I think, over 150 in there now. And other cool stuff on the way. But I am basically taking that and I'm going to show her, like, here's what your AI made, but here's what I made, and here's, the lists, here's the products. I know it fits because we also did a floor plan for this in the Mydoma Visualizer, of course. I'm not doing renders. I didn't charge her for renders. I charged her for the lists. This is very passive, by the way. I don't have time to do full-blown projects and management and all of that. So I was like, I will give you renderings. I will, and the renderings will be AI images that I've used the real products that I'm suggesting, and then, connected to Daniel House Club so that she can go order those products. So that's kind of like a new way that I'm exploring how I want to still do design, because I can't not design. Like, I took a while off from taking clients last year so that I could work on AI for interior designers, but I love design. And this is where I nerd out so much, in fact, that this kind of leads us into the next part of what I was going to talk about, which is agentic AI and apps. So having this client, I'm like, okay, great. This is the new process that I'm going to be doing. I'm not doing renders here, and I don't want to do just basic design boards anymore in Canva with products. I want to take those design boards and I want to populate the exact room with exactly what it's going to look like. And then I started using NanoBanana and Gemini to do that, and also to help me source and find good solutions. But I was like, this is kind of slow. I wonder if I can make an app that does all of this. So I did. I made an app. I've made several apps at this point, and some of them are in beta test right now. And I shared them with my AI masterclass that I hosted this week for attendees, and also at the IDS National Conference. So I have a light version out there right now that is in beta, and a few select people have been testing it. And basically, I created this, a larger version of this, but I'm giving you guys a light version to test for my client. So I was like, there's got to be an easier way for me to be able to take her notes, my voice clips, my other notes of what I want to do for this design project, put it into a flow and a sequence inside of an app that is contained by me and that I built, and basically say, here's the stuff, here's actual product, here's actual space. First thing I want you to do is create a design board. And then once we create that design board, let's grab a color palette board from that. Okay, once we have the color palette board, now I want you to take those colors and go find Sherwin-Williams, Benjamin Moore paints that are the same. So notice how right there, I just eliminated how many programs, right? I couldn't even tell you, but I know a lot of designers are probably doing 10,000 programs for this entire process. I've put it into one. So now I have the info, the product selections, a color board, color selections. Now I can move on to, okay, what else do I need? What am I missing for products in here? And so I've started to build in product sourcing inside of this app. It's not great right now. So that's kind of something that I've been working on for the full-blown app, mostly just because it's not pulling. Of course, it's not pulling information that is behind, trade resources that are gated. So you need a password, and it's not pulling up-to-date information right now. So a lot of dead links. So that's something I'm working on when it comes to this. But then I took it as to, okay, so let's drop in this specific sectional. We'll put it right here in the living room. You kind of fill in the rest. All right, now that you fill it in the rest, where do I find that ottoman? That type of stuff. So once you get an image where you're like, cool, this is something I want to show the client, you have the option to also animate it. So I've made it very easy inside of this app that I built for this process to take that image and then say, okay, let's make it a walkthrough. Prompts are inside. You just click a button and it does the walkthrough for you. You can add more to it if you have specific things you want to prompt and video for. And now I'm working on VR room walkthroughs. So, basically being able to embed something that's kind of like a VR option, but it's more web-based. So you can tour it and walk through it. There's some levels of distortion there that I'm working through right now, but are you hearing what I'm saying? you can build apps, and maybe this isn't you, maybe you'll have me build it for you, which I'm doing, but you can build apps for your process. And when you do that, think about the tools that you're eliminating, right? Just let that sink in for a second, because the amount of tools and programs that I have canceled this week because I can now build my own apps using NanoBanana, Google Gemini's AI, I'm down to like 10 subscriptions at this point. And that's really just because website, Google, ChatGPT, which I'm still keeping, by the way. Like for me, I need to know. And then the other one, which is Perplexity and the Comet browser, which I'm going to talk about next, because that's agentic and game changing, absolutely game changing. So building apps for your process, or if you're not an app builder, come find me, because I'm about to drop some apps to my daily members. I've been testing these out as I've been speaking with the light versions of these. My goal is to, and I hate to say harness because it's such an AI word, but to harness this technology that we have at our fingertips through these tools like Gemini, ChatGPT, which are open, meaning that you can build using that technology and then create apps that help designers all in one place. The difference from what I'm doing and from what the development in the tools that are out there right now is that I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. Okay. I have built so many apps and programs since I launched eDesign Tribe. Like my first software was acquired by Mydoma Studio. I'm not a coder, okay? Like I do what they call vibe coding, I guess, but I know enough to be dangerous. I know enough to build and launch my own apps at this point. And that, I think, for developers that have apps out there that are for interior design, and you've seen them, I'm sure you've seen them. They're on every Play Store, every app store, and it's like, change your room, and just, it's all these crappy AI like videos that you see on Instagram and stuff. And it's like, you can reimagine your space just by putting in your room here. That's not for us. Those have never been for us. Those developers built those for the masses, not for the professionals, right? So what happens when you get an actual designer that knows design process, the nitty gritty of what we need every step of the way, that knows AI and technology? You're about to find out. A few of you already know what happens because you've seen behind the scenes, and I have not showed that to a lot of people. But that light version that I've got out there right now, I'll probably make this accessible on my website following this episode, to be totally honest with you. Because I need to collect intel. I need to see usage rates. I just need to know that type of thing, because I think you guys are going to love what we can make. And I know that a lot of you don't want to build your own, or don't want to invest in having somebody build these for you, which is now a fraction of the cost that it used to be when you had an idea for an app. Now you can just build it for a fraction of that using these technologies. But this is game changing. Imagine building your own ClickUp. Imagine building your own team project management system, or time trackers, or just your process app that's also a portal for your clients if you want it to be, or it's just a back end thing for your team to generate images. But it's a process. We start with this info, we end with a downloadable deck that we can then send, or something we can embed in a landing page. Like, the possibilities are endless, and we have enough technology that is now accessible to everyone that you can do this. Okay. You can definitely do this, or use something that is way better than the options that are out there. And there's only about 2 that I would honestly recommend right now in the interior design space for this type of app, but not for long because of what I'm building. So I did not come into this AI for interior designers with any intention on building another app, software, or platform. None. Like I didn't want to do that. After I sold my last company, I was like, I don't want to build another one. Like that's it. But I can't not. When you build an app for your client's project and it's amazing, you got to share it with people. So here I am building software and apps again. I don't know. This job is weird. Every day is so different. Every day is so different. I love it. And I just like make it up as I go. But this is, I think that's what all these AI tools are doing. They're just making up as they go and they just want to be the best. And I don't want to be the best. I just want to have the best options for you to be able to adapt for your business. That is literally all I try and do every single day when I wake up and sit here on my desk. I'm like, how can somebody use this to better their business, better their life? That's literally all I'm thinking. So with that being said, let's talk about agentic AI and this Comet browser by Perplexity that is just blowing my mind. Okay. I have had access to the Comet browser by Perplexity, early access now for almost 2 months. I got it when I went to Ferguson this summer. It was around the same time. And that was what, August? I don't even know. And so I was in New York the first times I was looking into this, and I was like, okay, so I'm going to download this browser. I've been paying $20 a month for my Perplexity subscription, which I love. I've always loved Perplexity. You've probably heard me talk about it for a while. It's an incredible search engine. Even when, ChatGPT was like, oh yeah, I can search the internet, but it would lie and it really couldn't. And it was pulling on old information. Perplexity always has been that non-bias. Here's the question. Here's the answers. Here's where I got those answers. Go look for yourself. And it's always been like that. And a combination of different models inside. So it's like ChatGPT and tons of other things inside of this. Okay. So it does lots of things. And over the past 2 years that I've been using it, it's really started to just enhance, like every element, like spaces and the way that you can create different types of content and organize content. And then they were like, well, we have a browser now, So I'm like, okay, well, let me just try that. Oh my. Okay. Where do I even want to start with this awesomeness? So let's start with what agentic AI is. Okay. And I've done an episode on this before when I was like, this is coming. Agentic AI is basically if you ask your AI to do something on your behalf, it will do it. Versus just having a regular chat conversation or even using deep research where you're like, tell me about these things, let's have a conversation about it. It doesn't do. That's the difference. Agentic will do. So agentic AI, you'll see agent inside of ChatGPT now. That's also near deep research, which is also another great tool. So that's for something else. If you haven't taken my AI masterclass, take it. I talk about all this stuff for an hour and a half. Like it's a lot of information. It's on my website now too. It is inside of ChatGPT and you'll see it near deep research and you get like 40 a month. And basically you can say, okay, here's the task I want you to do. Now go do it. And you can watch it do that task. If it needs to log into certain things to access, it will pause, let you log in, enter a credit card, whatever, and then it'll keep going after you take over your screen and do that. So this is inside of ChatGPT. At this point in time, I have not ever loved any of the outcomes that I've gotten from using the agent inside of ChatGPT. And maybe I was just not doing it for the things that it should be doing. I thought it was, but I guess not. So inside of Perplexity's Comet browser, and this has replaced Chrome and also Edge for me because I've used both just because you've got Microsoft Copilot built into Edge, and then you've got Gemini built into Chrome. But then once I got Perplexity, this is my go-to browser every single day. Okay. This is where I'm accessing the internet, if that helps. So when I am starting my day, I will open the Perplexity Comet browser and it'll have a prompt box right there. And I'll just say, hey, what emails do I have that came in since last night? Or what do I have on my calendar today? And because I have logged in to my email, to my calendar, to trade websites, we'll say, to other things that you have at least logged into on the inside of your browser. When it does that, it's like, okay, let me go look. It just goes and it just looks and it gives me a recap. It gives me action items. It'll say, here's what's coming up. Do you need me to draft any emails, any responses? Do you need me to send that for you? I have used it to build my apps, to like figure out some of the stuff that I could not figure out. And that for me saved me hundreds of dollars in hiring somebody and waiting when I could do it in 2 hours. I figured out some stuff that I, really needed to figure out. And I understood it because I watched my screen as it took over and did the task that I had asked it to do. So not only is it like doing the things, and I'm doing 4 times as much in my day now because there's other ones of me that I'm also just saying, hey, go do this, go do that. I'm going to do this. It is happening all at once right now. So when it's doing these tasks, I can watch it, or I can just let it go and do its thing in its own browser while I do something else. The other thing that I really love is the voice conversations that I can have inside of it. And voice chat is inside of all your AI tools. Okay. So not only is like, it looks like a sound wave in all of these, but it's you talk to it, it talks back in a human sounding voice. This is for Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, and also for Perplexity. Those are my core ones. There's other tools out there, but for us, I think those are the ones that we're going to be using the most going forward and currently. So with this, I will activate the voice feature, and there's an assistant panel that pops up on any screen that I'm on when I'm logged into my Perplexity comment browser. And I'll activate the assistant or just the sound mode in the top right of my URL bar, and I'll just start chatting with it. I'll be like, okay, hey, this is what I need to do right now. I'm brainstorming this right now. Yesterday, I was trying to clean up all the links after a presentation, and I had a ton of them, but I need to send them off to different people. So I basically started up my assistant, had a voice chat, and also included some links. And I said, hey, here's the Canva link for this. We need to have that sent over to social media. Here's the editable link for the presentation. That needs to go over to my assistant so that he can make sure he has the images. Can you just put all this stuff in a Google Doc for me so that I can send this to the right people? And it did. Just as I'm saving my stuff, it's like, okay, it's going there. I got it. It's just going right there. I'll be in the middle of reading emails, and instead of activating my Gemini to do something, I will activate my either voice talking or my assistant chat on the side inside my browser. And I'll say, okay, this is something that I need to add to my calendar for KBiz for next year. Can you just go and make sure that there's no conflicts? And then can you add this as a busy event? Here's the details. Done. It's in my calendar. If I need to invite people to it, I just give it the specifications like it would an assistant. So the amount of things that I can do in a day has now quadrupled. And I said that during the IDS conversation the other day, and I was a little hesitant because this is game changing and this is scary for a lot of people because the biggest question, can it access my information? Can it see all of that? And yeah, like, of course, if you give permission for something to log into your email, it can see your email, right? If you don't give permission, it can't see your email. So for you, if you are sending sensitive emails, which go for it. I don't put my credit cards in there. Like I don't have anything in my email that I probably wouldn't send in a text message, like I'm pretty sure that is email 101. You shouldn't be sending that stuff anyway. But if there is anything sensitive in there and your email can get in there, or you're worried about your AI getting in there, then don't use it. Just don't use it. Okay. But if you are interested in this, and if you feel like, the risk outweighs, I said this on my thing the other day too. The reward outweighs the risk. That's what it is. Okay, so I said it backwards. If it's worth it to you to be able to free up this much time in your day, then do it. Like, just try agentic AI. And if you don't want your browser to be always logged into your email and everything, then use agents through ChatGPT, because then you have to specifically every conversation say, I'm going to log into this, I'm going to log into that. And it doesn't remember or see or know any of that just as you're perusing your browser all the time, which is what my comment browser does. But I also want you to consider this. My husband's Etsy account was randomly hacked this year. He hasn't bought anything on Etsy for a decade. And he forgot he even had an account, but they had somehow gotten into his old Etsy account, were able to hack into his email from his Etsy, and also like find his card information, like something in there. I don't even know. But this happened through Etsy, guys. This did not happen through AI. So anything can be hacked is what I'm getting at. And if this is concerning to you, then just don't use it. Okay. But also, if this is intriguing and still, still makes you nervous, like it always should, right? We always have to be cautiously optimistic when it comes to this. Read the terms and conditions of your email, your AI tools, all of that stuff. And if you're not understanding what it says, run it through AI and say, can you break this down for me? What are my rights here? What is my security here? I have found that Google's security and privacy settings are really top notch. And for that reason, like I feel more comfortable using a lot of these tools because I am Google based. But I also know that every time that I do this, there is a risk to doing this. And it's just something that is part of the reality. But I also, I guess maybe I'm pessimistic. I feel like this has always existed. They have always been able to see anything they wanted in our email or not. Our histories, like, I'm pretty sure this is not, I don't have anything in there that hasn't already been exposed in some capacity. Like, let's be honest. I'm sure my social security number is probably all over the place because that's just where we're at. You put your information into what you think is a secure setting, and we find out 2 years later it got hacked. And it's like, how does a credit bureau get hacked? Like those types of things, so do what you're going to do is the moral of the story. And don't be afraid of agentic, but also be cautious of it and just know the risks if you're going to use it. For me, worth it. So worth it because of the amount that I can now accomplish. I need you to know, like, I am a working mom and my husband works during the day too. So we get our 2 kids off to school and then they're home at 2 and 3 o'clock. So my day is done at 2 or 3 o'clock. So I need all the help I can get in between all of my meetings, in between my travel, in between all of that stuff to get everything done in a day. Like it just needs to happen. And agentic AI, Perplexity browser, and now creating all these workflows where I don't have to go to 1,500 tools and pay for 1,500 subscriptions, and I can consolidate into one that I built for myself. That's where I'm at with AI right now. Okay. I feel like I'm living in the future compared to a lot of designers, especially those that haven't embraced AI at all. And I look at them, I'm like, man, you just waste so much time in a day. You're wasting it. You're just like, why are you sitting here doing that task for 2 hours when I could do it in 5 minutes using AI and accurately, It just kills me to see people spinning their wheels when you could be outside or reading a book or playing with your friends. I got 2 kids. Don't we all want to just play with our friends again? Like, we just want to all go outside and just wait until the street lights come on and come home. I don't know. This millennial does, I guess. But until then, I'm just going to use AI and robots and have them do my job. And then I can go outside. Just kidding. They're really not doing my jobs. I am like overlord and they are doing the minion tasks that I wouldn't give to my assistant that I just do throughout my day. And my assistant can also be doing these things to speed up his process too, right? So Perplexity, as of this point in time with the Comet browser, is as I'm shooting this here in the last week of September, it is invite only unless if you have been a subscriber, I believe. But I would imagine very soon, if not like next week, that's how quickly these things change. Everybody that is a subscriber would, and it's $20 a month, would get access. But I can't say enough good things, and I think they're leading the space in this. So I think we're going to see a lot of other browsers follow. But agentic AI is not new. It's just better and built in to our tools now. So it just feels normal, to be honest. Like it just feels like, oh, I'm going to start my day with my AI agent, and that's how it is. And that's how it's been for 2 months. And I can't imagine not doing that every day. So AI is crazy right now, guys. And it's been crazy, but like, what do we do now? What's next? I guess my thing is that we just need to focus on offloading those pieces that are taking 2 hours that shouldn't, right? And focusing on the parts that we do love. And for me, that is the design portions, but also I don't love some of the design portions. I don't love the fine-tune searching and the gritty and like getting in there and finding the right stuff and then checking links. Like that's not what I love. I love designing, functionality, the connection with the client, right? The human experience. That's what I love about what I do. And being able to give people different energy and feeling in their space so that they too can just radiate at a higher vibration in their world. That's what I do. So if AI can help me do that more efficiently, I'm going to do that. All right, guys, that's it for today. That's a lot of information. I really do hope to see you at AI Day because that's a month away. And what I just said could be light years beyond that. We'll have to see. We'll have to see where we're at come High Point Market here in October. So hope to see you guys in some classes, but definitely at AI Day. And yeah, let me know what you think about all of this stuff. Like everything I just said is probably mind blowing for some of you. Some of you are like, yeah, I need to start doing this. And then some of you are like, okay, this is like too much. It's too much. I get it. I get all of those things. I totally get it. But I'm here for you. And my job is to just have fun with it and be meaningful, purposeful, and ethical about all of this. All right. So till next time, have a great day. I'll see you later.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and tune in next week for more AI tips for your design business. See you next time.